Okay, so this is section 1.3, linear equations. I'm going to follow this note guide a little bit, not completely. Linear equations, there's a word problem that goes in there, and we'll look at that in class. Slope is the steepness of a line. Found by the equation m equals y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. You would be given two ordered pairs, and we would name them x1, y1 and x2, y2. Find the slope of the line passing through, I don't know what that's about, so we're going to go on down here to this one. It says find the slope of the line passing through these 2 points. So we're going to use the slope formula, m equals y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So we'll call this x1 y1 and this one x2 y2. So we're going to say 3 minus 1 over 4 minus negative 2. 3 minus 1 is 2. 4 minus negative 2 is 6. And so our slope is 1 over 3. And at this point, that's all that it's asking us to do. The types of slope, you have a positive slope, you can have a negative slope, you can have no slope, and you can have zero slope. When you say no slope, it's also called undefined. A positive slope rises from left to right. A negative slope falls from left to right. No slope is a vertical line, and zero slope is a horizontal line. Another way to find the slope, oh, this is asking us to graph, so never mind. Hold on just a second on that thought. It says use the slope and the y-intercept to graph the line. All right, let me back up just a hair. Maybe, if I can get up there. So, up here when we talk about linear equations, and then don't write this here, just write it on your paper down there. But this is one form of a linear equation, and it's called the slope-intercept form. And that's because this is the slope, this is the y-intercept, and the whole thing is the equation of the line. So when it's y-equal form, we can simply pick out m and pick out b and use that to graph. So now let's go down here. Use the slope and the y-intercept to graph the line y equals 1/2 x minus 3. So we need to think of y equals mx plus b. And in this case, m is 1 over 2, and b is negative 3. So we always start here at y equals negative 3, so we're going to put a dot right here. And this tells us we're going to go positive 1, so up 1, and positive 2, right 2. Up 1, right 2. And just keep going until you go off the paper. You can go the other way. Instead of up and right, we could go down and left, down and left, down 1, left 2, down 1, left 2, and we can see our line. This is not in this form. And the other night we learned how to take this and get it into this form by solving for y. So we're going to minus 6x and minus 6x. We get 3y equals 12 minus 6x. And now we have to divide. So we get y equals 4 minus 2 over x. Now be careful here, because this is not in this form. The m comes in front of the x, so m would be negative 2. b doesn't have a variable, so it would be 4. So we're going to graph this at 4. We'll start at 4. And then negative 2 would be over 1, so we'd go down 2 and positive 1, right 1. So down 2, positive 1. Keep going. Keep doing the same thing, down 2, positive 1. We can do the opposite, up 2, left 1. And now we can have our line. Alright, the next one says use the slope and y-intercept to graph this line. Well, I'm going to introduce you to my friend, Mr. Vuxhoy. Mr. Vuxhoy, let me write it right here. I'm going to write over top of this and then I'll erase it. So just on a piece of paper or to the side somewhere. Vuxhoy. I call them Mr. Vux and Mr. Hoy. Well, Vux helps us remember that V stands for vertical, U stands for undefined, and X stands for X equals equation. So anytime you see an X equals equation, you know that it's going to be a vertical line. You also know it has an undefined slope. If they tell you you have an undefined slope, then you know it's going to be a vertical line, and you know it's going to be an X equals equation. Let's say you're given a vertical line, not quite vertical, but you get the idea. Then you know that that slope is undefined, and you know that it's going to be X equals for the equation, and it's always X equals the X number. So this X number is 2, that equation will be X equals 2. We'll get there, we're not quite there yet. So, that's Mr. Vux. From Mr. Vux, we can do this one. It's X equals equation. So Vux tells me I'm going to have a vertical line. And it's going to go through my X number. So X equals 4. And then I'm just going to draw a vertical line. Mr. Hoy tells us that this is a horizontal, and this is undefined. No, that's a 0. So this is 0 slope, and this is a y equals the y number equation. So what that tells us is when you come across a y equals equation, you know it's going to be a horizontal line. They give you a horizontal line and they want to know the slope. Well, you know the slope is 0. If they want the equation, you know it's y equals whatever number it goes through. We'll say negative 1, which is what this one is. So use the slope and y-intercept to graph the line. Well, the slope is 0, so we know it's horizontal. Hoy tells us it's horizontal. And we know that we just go to -1 and we draw a horizontal line. This one, graph the equation using intercepts. Well, intercepts is where it crosses the x and y axis. Well, an x-intercept is always right here, so that point's -3, 0. That point's -1, 0. This point's 4, 0. And you can see they all have a y value of 0. And then you have the y-intercept, which is -0, -3, 0, -4, 0, 6. Notice they all have 0 for the x. So what you do is you take your equation and you put 0 in for x. I don't like it. Sorry. Put 0 for x, 0 for y, and you work two problems. So 3 times 0 plus 6y equals 12. That goes away. 6y equals 12. Divide by 6. We get y equals 2. So one of the intercepts is 0, 2. Now we're going to put 0 in for y. So 3x plus 6 times 0 equals 12. 3x equals 12. Divide by 3 because that's 0. X equals 4. So those are our two intercepts. We can come over here and graph them. 0, 2, 4, 0. And if you do intercepts, you can draw a better line than that, but if you do intercepts, you only have to have the 2 points. Okay, I'm going to stop this video and start another one, part 2 for this.